Hello, fourth graders. This is my first attempt at doing a virtual read aloud, a remote read aloud. And I thought it would be a nice way to keep up some of our classroom traditions even while we're apart. I have not read this book before. This is new to me, but it's been highly recommended and I'm excited about it for a few reasons. The first is that this book, called Wishtree, is by one of my favorite authors, Katherine Applegate. Katherine Applegate wrote perhaps my favorite all-time fourth grade book, The One and Only Ivan. It is a real popular book in our family, and I often read The One and Only Ivan as a read aloud. I haven't done that this year. The One and Only Ivan, for those of you who have read that book, may be excited to know that there's actually a movie coming out based upon the book soon, and in the next week, Katherine Applegate is releasing a sequel to The One and Only Ivan called The One and Only Bob. However, this book, Wishtree, is a completely separate book, separate characters, separate theme, separate plot. It is a story told from the point of view of the tree, which is a unique point of view. And I want you to just take a minute and look at this cover illustration, which I think is so beautiful and so detailed, and notice some things, wonder some things. You might have some questions, some details you could take note of. There's some illustrations you'll see built in throughout the story. And then the story comes or starts with a poem, which I thought was really appropriate because we just finished our poetry unit. This poem is called Be Different to Trees, and it's by a poet by the name of Mary Carolyn Davies. The talking oak to the ancients spoke, but any tree will talk to me. What truths I know I garnered so, but those who want to talk and tell, and those who will not listeners be, will never hear a syllable from out the lips of any tree. This is a really nice way to start this story because a lot of the stories you'll see has to do with people talking to trees. I'm wondering if you have ever gone out in nature and had conversations with nature. Chapter 1. It's hard to talk to trees. We're not big on chit-chat. That's not to say we can't do amazing things, things you'll probably never do. Cradle downy owlets, steady flimsy tree forts, photosynthesize. But talk to people? Not so much. And just try to get a tree to tell a good joke. Trees do talk to some folks, the ones we know we can trust. We talk to daredevil squirrels. We talk to hardworking worms. We talk to flashy butterflies and bashful moths. Birds, they're delightful. Frogs, grumpy but good-hearted. Snakes, terrible gossips. Trees, never met a tree I didn't like. Well, okay, there's that sycamore down at the corner. Yakety yak yak, that one. So do we ever talk to people? Actually talk? That most people-y of people skills? Good question. Trees have a rather complicated relationship with people, after all. 1 minute you're hugging us, the next minute you're turning us into tables and tongue depressors. Perhaps you're wondering why the fact that trees talk wasn't covered in science class during those Mother Nature is our friend lessons. Don't blame your teachers. They probably don't know that trees can talk. Most people don't. Nonetheless, if you find yourself standing near a particularly friendly-looking tree on a particularly lucky-feeling day, it can't hurt to just listen up. Trees can't tell jokes, but we can certainly tell stories. And if all